right, everybody, we're back. My next guest tonight has appeared in such films as Working Girl, Broadcast News, and 9 Months. She can currently be seen in the #1 movie in America, In and Out. Let's take a look.
Was it all right? Is my veal cooking?
Oh, it's perfect. You're everything I've ever dreamed of for a wedding and more.
Do you have an attorney?
Hush. You're radiant, dear.
I just can't believe it. It's really happening. My life. After all those years, it's starting.
My mom says it won't last.
Your mom is an alcoholic.
Please welcome Joan Cusack. Thanks so much for coming.
Oh, it's
I've always wanted to meet you.
Well, it's a pleasure to be
You're
here.
a very cool actor to have on the show for us, and I'm excited for you. You just had a baby.
Yes, I did.
Great.
Yeah, I did 3 months ago.
All right, and what's the baby's name, first of all?
His name is Dylan. Dylan John Burke.
Why Dylan's a cool name. What made you think of that name?
Well, we were like looking around for different names, and my husband's name is Richard, and my dad's name is Richard, and his dad's name is Richard. So we didn't want to use Richard.
So you thought Dylan.
Right. So we just went another way.
Yeah.
And,
you know, there's a little pressure, though. If your name's Dylan, you have to be cool. Don't you?
You think?
Like, yeah, it's kind of one of those names, like Beverly Hills 90210, Bob Dylan. There's just this pressure on you to the name Conan. You can be a freak if you want. You know, you have the freedom.
Oh, a very wonderful freak. So.
Now, I won't do that again. I promise. 3 years old. Well, I'm always curious, like, what can the baby do at 3 years old? Because newborn baby. Oh, 3 months.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you said. But it's have a little drink during the commercials, and then the show goes easier. But when they're that young, they're just kind of blobs, right? They don't.
Yeah.
They even. I mean, I am a sentimental old fool. Yeah. But when they're that young, they're just like, you know. Does the baby recognize you? Does
they're sweet. They do kind of recognize you, and they're like, he's just beginning to smile and giggle, and you know, like if you take his feet and stick them in his mouth, which all babies can do for some reason.
You monster!
They're just so flexible. It's just strange. But for some reason, that like really cracks them up.
They're so flexible. This is great. I tied you in a knot. Now you can't move. How do you talk to the baby?
Well, you know, they say that you should talk to the baby a lot, that, you know, that's part of their learning, and you really have a conversation with them, even though they're not saying anything back to you. They just kind of grunt or moan or whatever. And so,
a lot of marriages work that way, actually. No real communication, an occasional grunt. Do you, but how do you talk to the baby? Because I see a lot of people talking to their baby and going, and I'm thinking, this baby is desperately trying to learn the English language. And people aren't speaking to it normally. You know, if you keep that up very long, it's going to be like 25 years old and hoochie toochie woochie doo doo. You know? Do you actually try and speak to it normally?
Yeah, no, you do. I mean, and they say you can say anything. You can tell it what you're wearing, what you're doing, you know. Mommy has to go to the bathroom really badly. Will you please hurry up and fall asleep? And, you know, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mother. I wasn't aware.
Right.
Tell us about your husband. How'd you meet this guy?
I met him actually at a engagement party for someone that I didn't really know that well, but I was determined to meet a nice, normal guy in Chicago and
You
get
just went to random engagement parties to try and hook up with somebody?
Right. No, it was a friend of a friend. And I met him. It was a country western bar, and I was sort of kept an open mind about that. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but I went anyway. And I saw him, and he had kind of a cool watch on that was really simple, and it was, I know, it's sort of...
You were attracted to his watch?
Well, I find that people's watches actually sort of says something about them in a way, and his was very kind of simple and clear, but it was an antique watch, and it was really cool. I don't know why. You're desperate when you're dating. You're looking for anything.
You want to grab onto anything.
Right. Anything that'll tell you something about...
He's hideous, but his watch functions. Let's get it on. So, Does he still have that watch? What if you found out later on it was like on loan? His was broken. And it's a watch with like Fabio on the cover. What have I done? This is terrible. Man,
he was really nice, and he said, well, you know, what do you do for a living? And I said, I'm an actress. And he said, well, do you do dinner theater, community theater? And I said, well, no, I haven't really done that. But it was sweet, because a lot of people don't really, you know, recognize me for anything. They think I...
You were nominated for an Academy Award. Did you bring that up when he's going, what do you do, dinner theater? I was nominated for an Academy Award, cowboy. Bang! Lights out. Oh. Not right.
No, you know, it's sweet, though, because, you know, people they don't always know how they know you, especially if you do character parts, and they, you know, they think, did you date my cousin
that way.
Bob?
That's better. You don't want a guy who's like, oh, you know, she's famous. I want to go talk to her.
Yes.
The movie In and Out, doing great.
Yeah.
And you're hilarious in it. It's in theaters everywhere. You got to come back because we didn't have enough time. It was really fun talking to you.
It was fun to talk to you,
Good to meet you, too. Joan Cusack, everybody. Squirrel Nut Zippers are coming up. We'll be right back.